And now it's time for my favorite part of the show. It's the great beers of Pennsylvania. And today, we're on location at the beer stop. My good friend Alan, who likes to talk about everything craft beer. What's going on today? What are we doing today?
Well, it's fall, and in fall means Oktoberfest and pumpkins.
Pumpkin spice everything, right?
Absolutely. And the amount of pumpkin beers in the last few years has just been insane. I think we have 70 different pumpkin beers right now.
Wow.
Everybody's making them. Each one's a little bit different, so if you like one, you might not like the other, but if you don't like one, there's one out there that you're gonna love, I'm sure.
So there's also a difference between pumpkin spiced and pumpkin.
Correct, yes. There's brewed with pumpkin, which tend actually to taste less like pumpkin pie, which is what everybody thinks pumpkin beer should taste like.
Right.
But then you also have the spiced ales that have the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the clove.
I tried one with habanero and cinnamon and pumpkin in the other night. That was an experience. We won't talk about that one today, though. So what do we got here? What will we start with?
Okay, we start with the Stig Pumpkin Ale, which I think we might have even have done on the show before.
Yes, we did.
But it's worth doing again. It is the one that tastes most like pumpkin pie. It is scary how much like pumpkin pie this one tastes. Then from Nimble Hill, which is a newer brewer to the area, we have their Be Kind and Nimble, which again is just more of a pumpkin spiced beer. Then Weyerbacher's Imperial Pumpkin. That's going to be a bit heavier of an ale. A little bit more heavy on the alcohol, a little bit harder of a beer.
Well, that one I believe I did review last season.
Okay.
So I'm familiar with that one.
That's a good one. And then last in the pumpkins is the Evil Genius Trick or Treat Pumpkin Porter. We'll start with the lightest one. Whenever you're trying beers, it's always good to start with a lighter one and work your way up.
Now this one is the Stig Pumpkin Ale.
Correct.
From Wilkes-Barre?
From Wilkes-Barre, good old Wilkes-Barre, good old Stig. Been around forever. It's a nice golden color. And I mean, you can just smell the pumpkin and the spices.
So that one goes down really smooth.
It's really smooth. You can actually sit down and drink several of them, and it's not so sweet that, you know, you try when you're like, oh, that's good, what else do you have?
You could really do some damage with this stuff.
Absolutely.
It's not, I mean, he says it's a light beer, but it's not a
Coors Light beer. No.
So,
well, last time we did the show, we did talk about these are sipping beers, not pounding beers. Quite frankly, most of the beers we're going to try today are more you can drink and pound them. You can drink one after the other, after the other, after the other, which is always a good thing on a cold day. Next is the Nimble Hill, Jack B. Nimble.
Okay, now what's the difference with this one?
This one's just going to be a little bit more heavy of an ale than the first one, and maybe a little bit more alcohol, not quite as pumpkin pie-y, but you're still going to get a lot of the pumpkin flavor and the pumpkin spices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly what he said. There's a little bit more
Ale
to it. Yeah, that's a little bit more ale to a little bit more malt.
Mm-hmm. It's not like a spice where you're like it's a clove or a coriander or something. It's just a little bit heavier, more serious of a beer.
I could just like see the leaves changing now. That's what it feels like, you know.
Well, even though you've had it before, I'm going to force you to at least try some more of the
oh no,
of the Weyerbacher pumpkin. And again, we're taking another step up in flavor, another step up in beer quality in terms of not a light beer, it's getting heavier as an ale, and this is a heavier ale than the second one we just tried.
And it's also another step up on ABV, right?
Yes, yeah,
this is about 8%.
Right,
So.
and the other ones are probably around that 5%. So it's a good step up for that.
So what he's saying is, a couple of these and you may have to sit down.
Yeah.
Now you can smell a little bit more alcohol.
Absolutely, and you really taste a lot more.
There's a way bigger flavor to this one.
It's more of a serious beer drinker and a microbrew geeks beer as opposed to the other ones.
It's okay to be called a geek, that's fine.
No, microbrew geeks, you know, we like that little punch at the end when you're drinking, then at least you know you're drinking.
Absolutely. And this is from Weyerbacher, and they are from Easton?
Easton, yes. Okay. Yes. And last is one of my favorite beers for the season. I'm a porter and a stout guy primarily, and just look at how nice that is. It pours Midnight Black. Now that's a beer for me.
Now we got chocolate in there.
Yep. It's a little less of the pumpkins.
Oh yeah.
But it's just a really, really nice porter. It's not as heavy as a stout, but as the nights are getting colder, a good heavy beer makes you feel nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of cocoa in this.
A lot of cocoa. You can get a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of clove.
So when we're talking about pumpkin spice beer, right there.
Yes.
Chocolate, pumpkin spice.
Right.
Good, very good.
It's kind of if, you know, Reese's made a chocolate peanut butter, chocolate pumpkin. That would probably be what it tasted like.
Yeah, let's talk about a little bit of a food pairing with this too. I could easily see eating some chocolate cake or something.
Absolutely, a nice
with
dessert
this.
beer.
Yeah.
Even just a piece of Hershey's chocolate or a little piece of dark chocolate.
There you
As
go.
you're eating that, pair it with this.
Dark
It's
chocolate
amazing.
could be a little bit healthier, right?
Absolutely. It's amazing how the two just pair together, and then you just get the real cocoa flavor in it.
Like always, all the beers we talk about on the Great Beers of Pennsylvania you can find here at the Beer Stop in West Hazelton. Come see Alan. Alan, you've got a huge selection in the back of us too. Not only just Pennsylvania beers from all over the place.
Absolutely, and that's the real benefit of coming here is if you want to try something new, you only have to buy one. So you're not getting into it for a 6-pack or a 12-pack. We usually have about 300 to 400 different beers at any given time. So come on down and try a new beer.
Alan, thanks for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.